Welcome to the Lose Weight, Live Life podcast. If you're someone who would do anything to lose weight, yet finds it impossible to stick to a diet, to eat less, or just what you think you should, this podcast is for you. I am your host, certified life and weight mindset coach Clair MACKENZIE. Listen in to learn how to stop overeating, lose weight for the last time, and create a relationship with food and yourself that you love, all without diet deprivation and self-sabotage. Hi everyone, and welcome to the Lose Weight, Live Life podcast, episode number 83. Why now is the right time. Today I'm talking to you about why now, right now, no matter what is going on in your life, is the right time for you to make yourself a priority and work on creating a relationship with food and yourself that you love. Now, whether or not now is also the right time for you to work on losing weight is up to you, and I'll talk you through how you might want to go about making that decision shortly. I was inspired by today's podcast because recently a few ladies inside of the Lose Weight, Live Life communities have declared that they're ready to start to move forward with their weight loss journey after watching from the sidelines and not thinking in that way for some time. And I'm curious about why it is that now seems to be the right time for a collective group of women. I'm wondering if it's maybe the lighter evenings and warmer weather, which does it make it easier for us to feel like we have more capacity for doing and more capability for not overeating maybe? Or is it that we've got Easter out of the way, that we can see a clear road ahead without family events with lots of eating so that we think we can make good progress? By the way, I don't ever think that it's useful to think of getting an occasion or a period of time out of the way so that you can move forward with your weight loss. This would have been how I thought about it so many times over the years and decades, but it is truly wishing your life away. It truly is buying into the fallacy that you cannot lose weight whilst you're living your life. Or maybe these women at the moment are motivated by a coming summer wedding, or they are seeing transformations others are sharing from doing the work and realizing that they want that for themselves. And notice that I'm saying that those transformations are coming from doing the work and not from losing the weight. Everyone who does the work to create the relationship with food, themselves, and their lives that they want is amazed to discover that the weight loss is not the best thing. It's how they feel about themselves and their lives that's amazing to them. So the point I guess that I want to make here is that working at losing weight is different to working at creating a relationship with food that you love. Yes, the two can go hand in hand and very often do, but it could be that now is the right time for you to work at creating a relationship with food that you love, but not the right time to work at losing weight. And I want you to know that this is an option. So let's look at why it might not be the right time for you to work at losing weight. There are always going to be challenges in our life, but sometimes the major life events that happen, such as death, illness, separations, work crises, that put extra pressure and stress on our lives so that we think we don't have the capacity to work at something else. We might notice that the idea of working at losing weight feels ridiculous, that it would be putting unbearable pressure on ourselves. Now, as a mindset coach, I can, of course, talk to you about how you always get to choose how you think and feel in any circumstance. And whilst that is true, I also want to offer that you also get to choose to give yourself a break, to not be in a rush, and decide that it's okay to not work at losing weight at a particular point in time, and to trust that you will when you're ready. One of the quickest and easier ways to figure out if you're choosing not to work at losing weight right now because you're making an excuse and letting yourself off the hook, or if you're generally dealing with trauma or a life event that you will benefit from giving yourself time to process first, is to ask yourself how choosing to lose weight right now feels versus how choosing to not lose weight right now feels. Which one feels like kindness? Which one feels like self-love? Take time to imagine yourself not working at losing weight for maybe a month and see how going about your day for that month feels, having chosen to not work at it. And then visualize yourself working at losing weight for the same month and ask yourself how that feels. Think of trying on what you want to do in this way, the same way that you do a new outfit. You're going to look for that gut instinct, that intuition of which feels right. And then you're going to trust yourself to do just that. Okay, so you do that. Say you acknowledge and appreciate the challenges in your life going on right now, and you believe that not losing weight is the right thing for you at the moment. And that's great. And it doesn't end there. You see, whilst I believe that there are times in our life where the kind, compassionate, putting ourselves first thing to do is to not work at losing weight, I don't believe that that equates to eating all the things, to not eating nourishing meals, to living off takeaways and processed food, or however, eating when you're not dieting may have looked for you previously. Because I also want to offer that now, right now, this moment is always going to be the right time for you to work at creating that relationship with food and yourself that you love. No matter what is going on for you in life, you always owe it to yourself to take care of you. No matter whether you are caring for a loved one whilst they're going through cancer treatment, no matter if you've had major surgery, no matter if there is a work crisis. No matter what's happening in your life, you always get to choose how you show up for yourself and others each and every day. Sometimes that might mean you run around taking care of everyone and everything, and other days it might look like you hunkering down under the duvet with a box set. So I want to explore further what creating a relationship with food and yourself that you love, and I put those two things together because I don't believe that you can have one without the other, looks like. But before I do, I want to ask you to consider what your relationship with food and yourself is typically like when you're not working at losing weight. And I want you to be really honest with yourself, because what I see and what I've experienced many times in the past is that when I'm not proactively working on losing weight, I'm not just eating normally, and I say that in air quotes because normal eating isn't even a thing. What I mean is that when I consciously am not working at losing weight, I was tending to eat foods I would be internally telling myself I couldn't have when I was working at losing weight, which would have meant dieting at that time. So I would be making the most of having all of these foods whilst I could, maybe even thinking I deserved them because life was challenging. And so many of us do this, which is born out of the diet mentality of constantly telling ourselves what we can and cannot have. And the problem is that the foods that we have, because we tell ourselves we can't have them when we're working at losing weight, are those foods high in sugar and or fat or maybe alcohol. They are the processed, refined foods that leave our body craving more of them and creating over-desire in our brain. And this is what I want you to not do now if it's not the right time for you to work at losing weight. And I don't want you to do that because it tends to leave us feeling miserable and unhappy and frustrated. The last thing we want when we're having a challenging time. And I don't want you to do that because eating those foods often leaves our bodies feeling heavy and bloated, maybe achy because it creates some inflammation, and also more tired and fatigued too. Again, the last thing you want when you're having a challenging time. So, creating a relationship with food and yourself that you love when you're not losing weight. How do you do that? Well, here are 4 suggestions. Number 1, take a minimum of 5 minutes, more if you like, first thing each morning to ask yourself how you want to show up for yourself and your challenging life today. And as I mentioned earlier, this might look like you running around taking care of everything and everyone, or it might look like you having a duvet day. The important thing is that you ask yourself how you're feeling and what you need. You have to get comfortable taking care of yourself first. You have to get comfortable knowing that taking care of your physical and emotional well-being is number 1 priority, because without those, you're going to be far less able to take care of other people and other things. It might feel uncomfortable at first to ask yourself what you need today and then meet those needs. And that's okay. Do it anyway. Be willing to commit to checking in with you, asking yourself what you need and honouring those needs every day for a period of time, let's say 21 days, and you will be amazed at how it makes it easier for you to also show up for everything else in your life too. Okay, number 2, nail the fundamentals. And these might be things you identify in your daily check-in in number 1, but however you do it, make sure that you prioritize water, being hydrated, sleep, breathing, connection with others, movement, nourishment with food, and also some sort of stress management potentially as well. These are the basic things we need to do to survive as animals on this planet, and yet most of us will frequently toss these things aside whilst we focus on what we tell ourselves are more important matters. Practice not doing that until it becomes your normal. Make these things non-negotiable. By the way, I have breathe in there, and of course we all breathe, but at the same time, we don't breathe properly. And taking 2 minutes of conscious deep breathing at intervals throughout your day can have huge benefits by decreasing activity in the sympathetic nervous system and activating the parasympathetic nervous system to help you feel more relaxed whilst creating clarity and focus. So much more effective than turning to chocolate or biscuits when you're feeling stressed. Okay, number 3 is proactively managing your mind. And what I mean by that is managing your thinking, knowing what you can and can't control, and make decisions consciously. I've referred here a number of times to sort of challenging life events. And it's always really useful to get very clear when we're thinking about challenging life events, what the facts are in those situations and what are our thoughts about them. Remember that you cannot control events that have already happened in your life. You cannot control what other people do or don't do or what they say. You cannot change your past, but you can choose how you think about your past. You can choose how you think in response to what other people do or don't do or say or don't say. And how you think about all of these things will be what determines how you feel, and how you feel will determine what you do or don't do, essentially how you show up. When I talk about making decisions consciously, I'm talking about making decisions with the executive functioning part of your human brain, the part of your brain that is very capable of weighing up the pros and cons and considering all of the options. It's the part of your brain that makes you human. What we often do, especially in times of uncertainty and challenge, is make decisions in the moment. And when we do that, our primal brain, the part of our brain that prioritizes our survival over everything else, which has us do things such as eating to feel better, avoiding things that feel uncomfortable, and avoiding things that take effort and energy. When we're being driven by that part of our brain, it can end up with us not making the best decision. The easiest way to make sure you're using the more effective part of your brain is to make decisions, what I call ahead of time. And that looks like you deciding today what you want to do and not do, what you want your tomorrow to look like. When you do that, you have a far greater chance of creating the day that you want than you will if you amble through the day, making decisions in the moment about what you're going to do next. Okay, number 4, the last one, is allow yourself to feel. Most of you listening to this who want to lose weight will be emotional eaters. And I, of course, talk about the fact that we're all emotional eaters and that it's okay and it's really normal. It's when we're heavier than we want to be that we know that our emotional eating is out of balance. And even when you're not wanting to work at losing weight, you can still do the work of allowing yourself to feel. The more you do this, the less you will have a need to eat to feel better. But that's not the only benefit. Allowing yourself, and actually for many of us, it's not just allowing ourselves to feel, it's something that we have to practice and learn. It's a far more a way to feel better than eating with. Because even though you may feel better in the moment to alleviate the discomfort of an emotion, not only has that emotion not gone away, you've just numbed it temporarily with food. But the chances are you'll create more emotional discomfort, you'll feel worse, because the foods that you eat, whether that's a tinge of regret or frustrating, or even sometimes the urge or craving for more, in some way you'll be typically creating a little more of something that you don't want. Okay, so those are some thoughts of mine I want to share with you today. My reason for wanting to share these is because we're about to run a weight loss mindset coaching experience week, which I have called Finding Food Freedom. And it occurred to me that some of you may be thinking this isn't right for me at the moment because I don't have the capacity in my life to focus on losing weight. And I think you might be thinking this because it's a way that I would have frequently thought about weight loss in the past on numerous occasions. And so I want you to consider the gift of making yourself a priority and doing the work without putting the pressure of weight loss on yourself. But instead, do it from a place of feeling curious about how maybe you learning how to prioritize you and create a better relationship with food and yourself will not only help you show up as the person you want to be in your life whilst you deal with whatever is going on, but that it will also help set you up for losing weight when you're ready to do that. So much of what we will share in the Finding Food Freedom Weight Loss Mindset Coaching Experience Week and also inside of the Lose Weight Live Life Academy membership program is not about the food, but about how to create that relationship with yourself and your life that you love through being empowered to consciously align your body, brain, mind, and emotions to have them work for and not against you. So if you're curious, come join us for Finding Food Freedom Week. It's totally free. You can find out all the details at www.thebestyou.coach/freedom. And you get to register there so that you get the workbook, the schedule for the live calls, and all the replays. And I'm also testing for the first time, making those calls available to you as a private podcast feed so that you can listen in your car or whilst you're out walking. And also come join us if you want to know more about the Lose Weight Live Life Academy membership program, because I will be telling you all about that and some new things that are going to be happening as well inside of the membership next week too. And just to let you know, we're opening enrollment next week. So that's the last week of April 2022. And there will be some special bonuses on offer for a limited time. So if you're wanting to join, don't miss out on those. And you can find out all the details about the Academy and enroll when it opens at www.thebestyou.coach/enroll. And that's enroll with one L. Okay, Have a great week. I look forward to seeing those of you joining us for Finding Food Freedom, and I look forward to talking to you next week. Take care. If you enjoyed listening to this podcast and are ready to live a more intentional life, lose weight as a part of that journey, and create a relationship with food and yourself that you love, then I would be honoured to have you join the Lose Weight, Live Life Academy membership and coach with me. The programme offers different levels of support to suit you, including self-paced learning, twice weekly calls, private coaching, an amazingly caring community, and lots more. Find out all the details about when and how you can join at www.thebestyou.coach/coaching.